what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1998 Land Rover Discovery Series 1. Up front is a 4.0 liter V8 and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Land Rover Discovery because this is when Land Rovers were tough, when Land Rovers had grit, when Land Rovers were meant to roam the land. And so this is one of those hardcore off-roaders that is sealed in the history of Land Rover as one of the greats, and I'm excited to share it with you today. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackcradle.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 4-liter V8 under the hood. Well, it is a little bit of a liar. This is known as the 4-liter V8, but it's actually technically a 3.9 liter because the earlier half of the Series 1 had a 3.9 liter, but they changed the engine a little bit, but they wanted to show off that they had made those changes, so they called this the 4-liter and that the 3.9 when they are similar displacements. So I found that interesting, but we will be referring to it as the 4-liter. It makes a nice grumble and definitely has the torque, which is what you want for off-roading. In terms of the top end, driving it around town, trying to be a little speed racer, it's not good. It will not treat you well if you try to drive this like a race car because it's not that. It's meant to go over bumps and ditches, and that's where that V8 torque really matters. Now, like I said, paired to it is an automatic transmission, which is probably the least desirable option on this vehicle because you could find them in manual. However, the automatic isn't really bothering me here today, and I don't mind it. Last but not least, Land Rover Discovery Series 1 is full-time 4-wheel drive. So you can select between high and low, but it's always in 4-wheel drive, and it does have a center locking differential. How does it feel to drive the Land Rover Discovery? Well, you kind of sit on top of it. That's my first big takeaway. Second big takeaway has been the ride quality, which is no good. However, that's pretty typical for off-road vehicles. More often than not, the worse the car rides on-road, the better and more capable it is off-road. So that's par for the course here with the Disco. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my coolant temperature and tachometer, and off to the right is my speedometer and fuel. On the steering wheel, I don't have anything besides my cruise control speed adjustment. And off to the left, we do have our rear defrost, rear fog lights, and volume. We also get a little climate control vent and our power mirrors. Moving on to the door, we just have our latch to get in and out. That's it. Moving into the center, we do get 2 climate control vents and the radio. This is an aftermarket radio. However, I love that down below it does say always wear your seatbelt because the airbags do not supply sufficient safety. Love that. In the center, we do get our climate control. Dual zone climate here in 1998. That's a pretty big deal. We also get fan speed, AC, and things like that. However, the AC is currently broken in this Land Rover Discovery, which is why I'm talking a little bit loud. Off to the left, we do have a digital clock, as well as our fog light switch, and this little bridge and road icon is actually to turn on the cruise control. I had to look in the owner's manual to figure out what the heck this thing was. Thought it was just bridge mode, but no, it's actually for the cruise control, which I found interesting. Off to the right, we do have a little ashtray. Now, you do get some cup holders that do come out of the dash. However, those obviously fail the big friggin' bottle test. But there is a bigger one on the center console, and although with the insert it doesn't pass, if you take the insert out, it does in fact pass the big friggin' bottle test. And then moving down into the center, we get our instructions for that transfer case and 4-wheel drive, which is very cool. We also get a 12-volt outlet and our 4-wheel drive settings for the diff lock, high and low range. Then we have the shifter, very plasticky, very British from this era. Reminds me a lot of like the TVRs and Triumphs that I've driven. And then we have a bunch of buttons for our windows, heated seats, and window locks. Very, very cool to see all of that. As well as we also get our power seat options up against the center console. interesting placement there. Speaking of which, we do get a little center console, and we get the seats. Now, the seats have a lamb's wool seat cover on them, which is interesting. However, I like the look of it. Kind of period correct, if you ask me. And they are decently comfortable. However, like I said, you do sit up pretty high, which took a little bit of adjustment, at least in terms of other off-roaders. Speaking of seats, though, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right. Getting up into the Discovery is not super graceful, and once I'm back here, it's not very spacious either. I don't get any center console, I don't get any amenities besides power windows, which I guess is a nice feature for 1998. A pull-out ashtray that seems to be bolted in upside down, so that's great. But other than that, nothing really too crazy. However, back here, I actually get a couple cool things. So I do have nets up above my head for storing, I don't know, safety equipment, cool things like that. I also get a center sunroof that would be able to open, however, this one is currently broken. And I get these side Safari windows that we'll take a better look at when we talk about the cargo space. But riding back here, I can't imagine all of the adventures that people have gone on and seen the world and seen parts of the country and nation and nature that you couldn't easily access otherwise. All from back here. Very, very cool. Let's hop into the very back, though. We'll take a quick look at the cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Discovery, big handle under here for a big door over here. Now, you do get some storage pockets in the door. You get a regular door latch over here as well in case you're stuck in the trunk. You get a giant privacy cover as well. Love to see that. More storage off to the left and right. But the creme de la creme is the Safari windows and added rear sunroof. Absolutely love that. Just so flippin' cool. Anyway, it doesn't really have to do with the rest of the cargo space. I just love looking up and enjoying all the extra light that those windows bring. But big door over here. There you go. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I absolutely adore the look of the Land Rover Discovery Series 1. I think it looks the part, and when I think of off-road capable SUV, this is what I think of. I don't think of a Wrangler, I don't think of a pickup truck. I think when I hear SUV and off-road, this is it. It's boxy. It's meant to do a job and do that job very well, and the Land Rover Discovery delivers on that promise. At least visually, this looks absolutely fantastic, and my jaw was on the floor when I got to drive it. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving this Land Rover Discovery from 1998? Well, I've enjoyed it. There is a little bit of adjustment. Like I said, with that seating position, with that low, torquey V8, doesn't really drive like our modern Land Rovers and Range Rovers, and that's kind of the point. Modern Land Rover, in comparison to this vehicle, is, for all intents and purposes, soft. Like a hot knife through warm butter. They just don't have that edge that this particular vehicle has. I truly feel as though I'm out on a safari anytime I drive this, and I think that that's actually a really good thing. It feels ready, it's capable, and I think it has a style of its own because of that. It doesn't feel like it was styled to look like it was capable off-road. It was capable off-road, and this just so happened to be how it looked like. But like 5 o'clock Shadow, it just has this good rugged look. And driving that, you really feel that as well. Everything in here is for a purpose. It feels ready to be lost in a rainstorm halfway up a mountain. It feels ready to conquer deserts and terrains that other vehicles might not be ready for. And so now I get it. I understand why these are so sought after and why people love their discos so much. Me personally, I can't say I loved the Bee Gees, but today you can certainly count me as a disco fan. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Ted for letting me take out his Land Rover Discovery. What an awesome off-road vehicle. Ted is a very good friend of mine, very good friend of the channel. He always has cool, unique, and interesting vehicles to film. This is just the flavor of the day, but we have a couple more coming too. Ted is a great supporter, and I very, very much appreciate him. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.